Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Oline and I'm Weater from Norway, and today I also have my son here with me if you hear anything in the background, because I am very ready for our fresh start, and one of my favorite ways to do that in the new year is to go through my stash. My stash gets really messy throughout the year because I just keep pulling yarn out of it and it all just crumbles. What you can see now might look quite clean, but there's also yarn all around me, so this is definitely an illusion. I also don't know where all of my yarn is. I think I have yarn around the whole house, so that's going to be the first thing I do. But I just wanted to say like hi and what we're doing. But we're going to start today, and then we'll see how many days it takes us to go through this whole stash. I want to organize it. I want to plan for the yarn that's in it, because I have a lot of yarn and I want to know what I'm going to do with it. And then also I want to know exactly how much yarn I have. So the first step to doing that is to gather all the yarn, figure out where my other yarn hides, and get all of my yarn into this room. And then I'm going to reset this corner here because it gets dusty. I think a lot of things hide in here just. So I'm going to get my yarn, and then I'm going to take all of this yarn away, put it somewhere else so I can reset this whole yarn corner. And then I'm going to weigh all the yarn to figure out how much yarn I do have. That is usually the thing that takes the longest. And then once I know how much yarn I have and the colors and how that how much yarn I have in the different colors and different yarns. Jeg vil holde den. How much colors I have in the different yarns, then it's easier for me to plan. So then I'm going to start the planning, which I'm really excited about. That's one of the most fun parts. Okay, ikke sir. So that's what I'm going to do, and then lastly I'm going to organize it all back in. I don't know what kind of system I'm going to have when I organize, but I usually figure that out along the way as I do everything else, because all of the other parts usually take forever. But yeah, that's the starting point. I think I can also show you how messy it is to begin, so you can really see the transformation. But I just wanted to check in and tell you what we're going to be doing. I hope you want to come along as I clean this stash and figure out what's in it.
Synes du det var mye? Hva sier du når det er så mye garn? Sier du hurra?
It's been quite a few hours since I've started, but I have not done much. As you can see here, I have barely done any rows in my book where I've logged yarn, and that's just because I really lost steam after I was done like cleaning the floor. I still have not moved on to the shelf because there's no more room in the bed to like keep the yarn here while I sort through it. I'm like sorting through it one category at a time. So this I think some of this is not scrap yarn, but I'm starting with my scrap yarn and all my yarn that's just one skein. So I'll have all of that yarn together, so that will hopefully make it easier to pick projects for those. That's also the most tedious yarn group to log, because I have to weigh, and like I have so many different of those. The rest of these I have like multiple skeins the same color, so that should help as we move on. But yeah, I have not done much, and I have not started with the shelves at all, so that's something I'll have to do probably tomorrow. But I think doing the floor first should be fine, and then I'll separate them into categories, probably on the floor, and then we'll move on to the shelves tomorrow, so I can also dust those. But yeah, that will have to be a tomorrow thing, because it's currently almost 9, because like I've done bedtime, I've done everything, so now I'm back. Luckily, I can still work a bit because we have light inside, so I can use that to get through this. So I really hope I'll be able to get through all of this, so we get the bed back, of course. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. This is the most tedious part. It really takes a lot of time to log all of the yarn and do that in a way that also makes sense. But I really hope I'll be able to get through it today in a way that makes sense, and so that this book will be helpful. And I also hope I will actually remember to log everything, because I know that that was a problem the last time I did this, that I forgot about some yarn. But yeah, that's just my little update from right now, and now I'll stop procrastinating and actually get back to tracking all of this yarn. Hi, I'm finally done with probably the tiniest part of my stash, but the most time consuming, and maybe probably what I think also is the most boring part of my stash, and that is my scrap yarn. That's what I find it the hardest to figure out plans for. It's also just a bunch of different skeins, so it takes really long to log. I also have these tiny ones. Not all of the super tiny ones are logged because it's like 2 grams, but I like to keep them in case I have to mend any of my knitting. But scrap yarn is done. These are all of the skeins that I have less than a skein's worth of. So yeah, finally done with that, and very surprisingly to me, they do all fit in this basket, which is my goal, to never let it like grow out of this basket. So I'm really pleased with that. I think I figured out some plans for some of it, but I don't have a lot of plans for this scrap yarn, so we'll see. And also one of the reasons it took me quite some time is because I found a skein of drops on this, and I just did not want to carry that with me in my stash anymore, so I decided to make I don't know what you would call it, but the thing you use when you're supposed to grab something hot out of the oven, and I'm going to felt this, and it's going to be just a lovely little square. So definitely not probably the wisest use of my time, but I did stash bust 77 grams of yarn, remove a whole skein, and with that a whole type of yarn, and I also got this, so quite happy with that. Now I'm going to move into my single skeins. I'm going to move into all of my single skeins. Those are full skeins, but I only have one of them. And after that I'm going to move into more of just my stash in general. And yeah, I don't know how long this will take, but it's looking like it's going to take forever right now, but that's where I'm at right now at least. This is now the third day of me working on my stash, going through it, planning what I'm going to make, and I think we've finally reached the finish line. Also, today I also have someone with me helping, so still might be background noise, but I have finally gone through everything. I late yesterday got through my whole stash, and through logging all of that, it has taken me a bit longer this time since I've logged it digitally and I've taken pictures of everything, but everything should be very clear and I should always have my stash with me now, which I think will be great. So that's where we're at right now, and I thought I'd just show you the yarn on the floor now, and then I'm going to tell you all of my plans, and then finally the thing I've been waiting on the most, will put it back on the shelves, and hopefully it will look clean and great and be very motivating to look at. And yeah, I've been really missing my knitting time after these days. This organizing has definitely taken a lot of my knitting time, so I'm ready to go back into my knitting with loads of motivation and just a new spark for all of my yarn and knitting. And yeah, I'll stop babbling and actually show you the yarn now. So for all of my yarn, we can start over here. Here I have kind of the yarn I like to do baby knits with. I just know that this is the yarn I go for in general. This yarn does not really have any strict plans because I just grab for that when I do baby knits. But moving here, this is my very strict baby knit plans. They have these labels telling me what I'm planning to make and the size and how many grams is in each bag. Then back here we have all of my kid silk and also my alpaca silk. And then here we have all of my hanks and single skeins of yarn. All of these are single. Then I have sock yarn here that I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with, but this is where I keep my sock yarn. And then this is all of the plans for myself, so that's how I've grouped this. My plans for myself, these are my whips. These are all of my plans for my son, and then this is gift knits. And then over here I have more hanks that I don't know what I'm doing with. Then I have alpaca, which I find is maybe the hardest yarn for me to plan with. I don't use it that much, so if you have any great alpaca tips, please let me know. Then I have like my DK wool, and here is just all of my merino. And then over here I have my cotton merino, which I've cleared away because it's not a seasonal yarn, so I'm not going to use that for probably 6 months, so I've just put that over there, and that's where we're at right now. But I thought I would tell you more of my specific plans for all of these yarns that have very specific plans. So let's do that. So for my plans, I have written them down here just to remember all of my plans. I know most of them just by looking at the yarn, but I wanted to make sure I would remember everything. I probably still have forgotten something, but I do have my list here, so if I look back at anything, that's because I'm looking at my list. But I thought it would make sense to start talking about my plans by talking about the things that are already on my needles, because you could say that they're not plans anymore because they're already on my needles, but I do still plan to knit them. So I think we'll start there, and I'll probably be moving in and out of frame, but we'll just have to work with that. But first off, this is the project. I've worked on this a lot. I probably will be working on this for a long time still, because this is my scrappy felted sitting mat. This is knit in alpaca wool, Nepal. I'll probably put in my scrap of Alaska from this sweater into here. I'm just knitting this in a lot of my scrappy wool non-superwash yarn that can be felted, and that all those skeins that are kind of the same thickness I'm using for this. And my goal is to make this really long because I want the whole family to be able to fit on one of these mats. Haven't gotten that far, and my progress really stalled once I had knit up all of my and my mother's scraps, and no one else in my family has any scraps. So this is just on my needles, or right now it's actually on try-on tubing, but it will just be on my needles until it's done. But that's like one of my plans, and all of my scrap yarn that fits into this will go directly into this. So really love that for that. But probably my least exciting whip because it's just there on the sidelines. And then let's see if I can get it. Then I'm trying to go in order from oldest to newest, but then I have my Christmas sweater, which I have really been struggling with lately. I'm knitting this in Hillesvåg Ask in the color Farmer's Red. I don't know if you can see, I don't know if this helped you see actually, because the lighting is quite bad because it got quite late before I got time to do this. But yeah, that's my Christmas sweater. It's obviously not Christmas anymore, but I did not finish it in time, so this is what we're working with. I still hope I can finish it this winter because I'm really in love with the turtleneck of this, and I still think I'd get loads of use out of it, and then I'd at least know my Christmas sweater would be done in time for next year's Christmas. I think this will take 3 skeins of the Hillesvåg Ask, but I do have 3 more skeins if I need more, but that also leaves me with some leftovers I don't know what to do with. But yeah, that's my Christmas sweater. It's more than halfway done, so that's a whip I'm also really excited about. And then let's see, then I have my Charlie pullover, which isn't as clear to tell is a sweater, but this is also going to be a sweater. This is the Christmas sweater is designed by me. I'm just freehanding it. I wanted something that would just fit me perfectly, exactly how I wanted it, so I'm designing that. But this one is a design by Morecaknit, and I'm absolutely loving knitting on this. And this is knit in, let me just get the skein. This is knit in Pickles, in their extra fine merino in this lovely red. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm really into the color red, and I think after these projects and a few others I've planned, I've almost threw all of my red yarn because I've just been really obsessed with it the last year. But yeah, that's another one of my whips that I'm excited to knit on, and this is about, if I use all of the yarn, which I think I will, that's about 500 grams of my stash yarn. And I thought I would do a summary of all of my yarn and exactly how much yarn is in my stash once I'm done with my plans and also done with sorting it. Then I'll just pop in and do a little summary of everything. But that's another one of my whips. And then I have my son's sweater. I think this is the only thing on my needles currently for my son. This is the Alfred sweater by Petiteknit. I'm knitting this in, let me get the yarn. I'm knitting this in thin merino wool in this color that I have no clue what it's called. I think it's like a rusty color, but it's discontinued and I just can't figure out what it's called. But that's another one of my projects, and after this is done, that will eliminate 300 grams out of my stash. And then I have 3 really tiny whips that I just started and will probably finish soon, and one of those is this pattern, and I don't know if this has a Norwegian name, but it's called the Synnedrakt by KnitbyJacobsen. I'll try to show you the details of this. It's really hard because it's dark, but it has this lace detailing here and it's just really cute. I'm a bit into the body now, but I'm going to stop that and start doing the sleeve soon. And this I'm knitting in Drops Baby Merino in the color Desert Rose, which is one of my favorite colors to do these cute little baby knits in. This is going to be a gift for a friend, so I'm really excited about this too, and I'd say I'm about halfway done because the pattern says it needs 100 grams of yarn and I've used 50. And then the next project I've started is this one, and this is going to be one of my accessories for my wedding day, so hopefully it will be done in time. But I've noticed that this works up really slowly, and that is the honey bucket bag from Petiteknit. I've just started. I don't know if you can see the structure because of the bad lighting now. That's a bit of a bummer, but I just started this yesterday or the day before, can't quite remember. I haven't had that much knitting time, but I've done a bit yesterday evening, especially when I needed a break from this project. And this structure takes so long to do. I think I'll get maybe 1 centimeter or 1.5 centimeters in an hour. And the structure part is going to be like 18-19 centimeters. So that's going to take me quite some time, but this is going to be my bag for my wedding, so I'm really excited about it. And for that I'm using leftovers after my wedding dress, and that is Sandnes Garn Sisu and Sandnes Garn Alpaca Følgetråd, both in white, or I think the Sisu is in white and the Alpaca Følgetråd is in off-white, but that's this project. And these yarns are going to be seen more because I have a lot of plans for my leftovers after my wedding dress to make all of my accessories. But yeah, that is the very start of my bag. And then I have my last whip, which is very nearly done, and that is another Stormy weather hat. This pattern is my obsession. I love this pattern. It's amazing. This is it so far. I just need to decrease at the top and do the ear what is it called, cuffs. So this is almost done, and that will eliminate about 50 grams from my stash. And I'm knitting this in double Sunday in a color I don't quite know because I got this double Sunday at the Sandnes Garn outlet, but I think it's close to the Bjørnebær color or something. I don't know the English name and I don't really know the Norwegian one either, but this is the hat so far and it's almost done. And with that I'm all done with all of my whips, which is great. And then I think we can move into my plans for myself. I do have quite a lot, as you saw when I showed you my pile, and I don't know where to start, but I'll just go from the top of my list, I guess. And at the very top of my list is again the double Sunday yarn, and how annoying that the lighting is so bad, but here is the double Sunday yarn. It's this amazing lilac color, and I really could not go past it when I was at the outlet, so I got 1 kilo of that almost a year ago now. I did that in February, late February, and I got this yarn, and ever since I got this yarn my plan for it has been to use the yarn to make a self-drafted sweater, probably a really simple one. I want drop shoulder, I want loads of stockinette, and I just want it to be really cozy because it will be my first time using double Sunday to knit something for myself, and I think double Sunday is a really soft and lovely yarn both to work with and then probably to wear. As I said, I haven't been able to wear anything in double Sunday, but it does feel very great, and the fabric feels also very great working up. I haven't used any of it until now. I used the very first skein now to make the Stormy weather hat, so I still have about 1 kilo. I probably won't need all of that to make a sweater, but since it's going to be a self-drafted one, it will be nice to have more than enough, so I won't have to play yarn chicken as well as making the design choices. So that's one of my plans, and I hope I'll get to it this winter. If not, I want to do it next winter because this deep dark lilac color really feels like it belongs in the winter months when it's also dark outside. So that's one of my plans. And then my next plan is actually with yarn that was gifted to me by Eweknit, and I'm really excited to knit with this yarn because this yarn is new to me and it looks absolutely fabulous. And I also think the pattern I'm going to do looks very fun to do, and I'll try to show the yarn. I have this mohair yarn. This is called Leona. I'm struggling a bit to pronounce it, but this is called Leona, and it's this really nice like icy blue. And then I also have this one that I'm struggling even more to pronounce. So I'll just try to show the label, I guess. But this is also in a really lovely blue. And with these I'm going to do the Tecla sweater by Eweknit. And yeah, I'm really excited for that. But this feels much more like a spring sweater to me because of the sleeves that are in just mohair. And also this yarn is 50% cotton, 50% merino, so it definitely does not feel like a winter sweater. So this is a fall, not a fall, this is a spring knit for me, and I'm really excited for spring to come so I can knit this. But until then, this will be with my plans. And then I have more of my wedding dress yarn, but this time the yarn from the mohair skirt and also the mist sleeves, and that is kid silk in the color of white and in the color mist, I think. I never quite know what the name of the blue one is, but here is the yarn. And with these skeins my plan is to do a Cumulus blouse. I think I really like the Cumulus blouse O-neck that I have currently, and I would love another one of those. And I also think having more of an everyday sweater or some kind of garment to kind of remember the wedding dress by, and that whole process just sounds very good to me. I really want to have a piece in my closet that I can wear and like remember all of that. So I think it will be great to use my wedding yarn to do that. And the Cumulus blouse is by Petiteknit, and I'm pretty sure I'll do the O-neck even though I have one of those from before, because I like the way the O-neck looks a lot better than the V-neck. So 4 skeins of each, so about 100 grams of each color. And then while I have these up and talking about them, I'm also going to use this yarn to knit a December bow as an accessory for the wedding. I'm also thinking a bit about using this yarn because I have more than just these skeins. I'm thinking about using my other scraps to make like decorations for the wedding, December bows and like ornaments, but not for a Christmas tree, but for a wedding. So that's kind of my plans with these skeins, but I'm definitely doing the Cumulus blouse. I'm definitely doing a December bow for myself. And then, just while we are already talking about wedding yarn and accessories for the wedding, I have again the sisu and again this blue mohair that I want to combine and make autumn cabled mittens. That pattern is by Strikkesoffe. I already have 2 autumn cabled mittens, 1 pair in Lima and 1 pair in Drops Baby Merino and Kid Silk. Love both of them. One is more for like rough house playing outside, and 1 pair, the Kid Silk one, is more like pretty. But I want to make a pair for my wedding day as well. So I want to use the main yarn from the wedding dress paired with the blue of the mohair skirt to kind of tie everything together. And I thought the autumn cable mittens would be great as well, because a lot of my wedding dress, a lot of the details is cables, and the big thing about the autumn cabled mittens too is the cables. So I thought that would bring it all together very well. And then I've also thought a bit about adding some pearls to the mittens, since I have pearls on the belt of the wedding dress as well. Yeah, so that's another plan I have, but I think that's it for my plans for the wedding and weathering accessories, but also I'm going to make one pair of mittens for my fiancé as well, probably in this same yarn combo, but the mittens are going to be plain instead of cables. But yeah, those are all my plans for the wedding. But while we're talking about mittens, I'll just quickly say that I have another plan for mittens, and that is to use this scrap yarn. All of this is scrap yarn, but I made a really lovely pair of one-day Selbu mittens, also a pattern by Strikkesoffe, for my friend for Christmas. And that was in these yarn combos, and I weighed the yarn before and after, and based on my measurements and how everything weighed then, I should be able to make a pair for myself as well. So the blue of these mittens will be Air in the color Peacock Blue, and also this Doble Garn Kid Silk Erle, also in blue. These are very much scrap yarns, and knitting these mittens will eliminate them totally. And then I'm going to again use white kid silk, which I have a lot of, so I'm aiming to use a lot of it, with alpaca, drops alpaca in the color Off-White, double-stranded. So this will be 3 strands and this will be 2 strands, and together they made the most amazing mittens. So hopefully I can recreate that. So that's also one of my big plans this winter. And at this point we've talked so much about like accessories that we'll just finish that off before we go back into garments. And my next to last planned accessory is to use this yarn. This is Drops Nepal in the color, I'm not quite sure, but like marzipan color. To use this yarn to make myself double felted slippers. That is a free pattern by Sandnes Garn. I've made myself one pair before, and I'll show you how that turned out. This is one of my slippers from last year. As you can see, that felted way too much and it can stand up on its own at this point. So I'm back for a second try. I did also make a pair for my son last year and that worked out. So hopefully I can make myself a pair this year. That's something I really want to be able to do. So that's also one of my plans. And then my very last accessory is something I've been planning to do for years. I keep talking about it in every single one of my knitting plans videos and I never get to it, but I'm going to mention it again, and that is that I want to use this yarn that is Drops Nord in the color Pearl Grey to make myself penny socks. I got this yarn more than 4 years ago with a plan to make penny socks, and then I just got really intimidated by it being socks. I haven't made that many socks, and also by it being, I think it's ribbing or pearl ribbing, and also 2.5mm needles. So I'm just intimidated. It seems like it's going to take forever, and because of that I just have never cast on. But it's still a plan of mine. I would love to get to it this winter, or it would also be a great project in spring, or just whenever I get to it, because it would be great to get this yarn and the plan out of my stash. So that's another plan I have, and the last of the accessories. And then I have this yarn here. Let me just look. I have this yarn here. I just have to bring my book so I say it right. I have this yarn here. This is Knitting for Olive Merino in the color Dusty Violet, I think it's called. And with that I really want to make a Cumulus top, but a dress version. I have 400 grams of this, so I think that should be enough. Because early last year, sometime last year, I can't remember when, I saw the most stunning dress ever over on Instagram, and that was a dress that Smocko_make has made. She made one in white, I think, using Knitting for Olive, either merino or pure silk, I think, and I just fell in love with that. And ever since, I've thought that I could make the same dress in Knitting for Olive merino in this color. I still haven't gotten to it, but I really hope I'll be able to get to it next summer, because that dress is just stunning. So that's another one of my plans. And then my last plan, I don't have all of the yarn for, but it's still a plan because I have most of the yarn for it, and that is that I really want to make the Springbloom sweater. I don't remember the designer's name right now, but I'll put all of the information on the screen, of course. But I really want to make the Springbloom sweater. I have planned to make it for some time, but just amidst everything else I've been knitting and the wedding dress needing to be finished, I have not gotten to it. And I also think with the name and the motif of the sweater and everything, that this is a sweater I really want to make in spring, as it's called, the Springbloom sweater. But I'm going to knit that, and my idea is that I'm going to double strand this Petiteknit that I've been really struggling to figure out what to do with. I'm going to be double stranding that, and this is a colorwork sweater, of course. So with this, I'm also going to be getting Petiteknit in white to do like the blooms, the flowers. I don't know what you would say, but the color will be white. And I got this Petiteknit at the Sandnes Garn outlet. A lot of my Sandnes Garn yarn as I have gotten at their outlet, because Sandnes Garn is a bit too expensive, if not, for me. But I hope that this being an outlet yarn does not mean that it's thinner or thicker or different than other Petiteknit yarns, so that the white I get will match with this. But yeah, this I also have about 1 kilo of, so I really hope that double stranding it will help me eliminate some of it from my stash, because I love the color and that's why I got it. But it's been really hard to figure out what to do with it, because it is a bit too stiff to do baby gifts in, and it's really thin, so I haven't had any other good ideas. So hopefully this will help me eliminate the yarn. And that's really it for my plans for myself. But I have one like honorary mention, and that is all of my sock yarn. This is my sock yarn, I just have it in here. I have one skein of each, and I don't know what to do with it. This is self-striping too, but I don't know. I need to find a pattern I really like. This is also for thin socks, and I just haven't found a pattern I like for thinner socks. I really like the Sunday socks for thicker yarn, and I've tried the everyday sock that did not fit my foot great, so I'm not going to knit that again. So now I need to figure out what kind of socks I can knit with these. But these are also going to be socks for myself, so that's why I'm mentioning them with all of the other plans for myself. But yeah, that is it for everything. I'm hoping to knit myself with stash yarn, and probably throughout the year I will be getting some other yarn to knit something else for myself, because I have a couple of like big dream knits that have been on my wish list for years that I'm probably going to get myself, probably for a wedding gift for myself. But with my stash yarn, this is what I'm planning to do. And now, oh no, it actually turns out I forgot one of my plans, and that is that I'm going to be using this yarn. I don't know what to call this color. It's like a burgundy red in Sunday. That I think is also the first time I'm going to be trying out Sunday from Sandnes Garn, so I'm really excited about this project. And this is going to be a hat for myself, but I can't figure out if I want to do the hipster hat or if I want to do the weekend hat. I've done the hipster hat a lot of times before, and I know I really enjoy that pattern, but I can't figure out if I would want another one, because I have one of my own of the hipster hat, and then I have one of the hipster hats that I share with my son. I don't know if I need another one. or if I would like a weekend hat. I know I need another hat, but I think it would be nice with a change maybe. But that's another plan. Probably going to be costing on for this pretty soon, because it's great to have just a small mindless project in between all of the bigger, more like following a pattern more exactly patterns and projects. But that is actually the last one of my projects. And now we can get into my plans for my son, which is also quite a few plans, but they span a pretty wide range of ages and sizes. So if I'm not going to be able to do them all this year, that's fine. But I really enjoy knitting for my son, and it's also another kind of like palette cleanser. They are a bit bigger projects now, the age is getting to, but it still moves a lot faster than an adult garment. And yeah, I love the fact that often when I knit things for him, that means we'll end up matching. But that's enough of that, and I'll show the first plan. And the first plan is Friday sweater. I love Friday sweaters. I love to knit them. I love to look at them. I love wearing them. I love everything about it. And for this year's version of the Friday sweater, we're going to be using Drops Flora in the color of white and red. I love both of these colors. I think it's going to be great together. It's going to be a very statement piece, because the main color is going to be the red, because that's what I have most of. And then the straps are going to be white, and I think that will be a really cool sweater. I'm really excited for it. It will be fun. It's always a bit of a hassle to knit stripes, because you have to carry the yarn in between the stripes, but it's also really fun because you see your progress so much quicker than if you were to just do it in one color. And I tried to do the Friday sweater in just a single color once, and I really realized how much power stripes have when it comes to making you think you've made progress. But yeah, that is my first plan, and I'm going to be making that in the size 3 to 4, I'm pretty sure. I might do the 4 to 5 because I'm a bit late to knit this, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to do the size 3 to 4. And then I don't know if there is going to be any rhyme or reason to the order in which I show you these plans, but I'm just picking up the yarn that's closest to me. And the next plan is actually going to be to make something that matches something he already has. I've already knit him a tractor sweater. I think the pattern is by House of Yarn. The Friday sweater pattern is by Petiteknit. But the tractor sweater pattern is by House of Yarn, and I've already made that sweater. But the pattern also came with a hat that I haven't made yet, but after I was done making the sweater, I had scrap yarn or leftover yarn, and this are all of the leftovers I have. So I'm pretty sure that with almost 2 full skeins of the grey, this is Daisy in light grey, and then Daisy in like, I don't know what this red is called, but the most like bold red, and then also black. I'm pretty sure that with this I could make the hat, so that's what I'm going to do. My son was a bit on the fence about the sweater at first. He did not think the tractor was the right color, but he's come around to it. He's really happy with the tractor color now, so now that I'm more confident that he actually enjoys it, I'm going to be making the matching hat. This is, or I don't know how bad the hat will be to knit, but both the hat and the sweater are knit in color work, of course, and at some points in the color works you are knitting with 3 colors at the same time, which is horrible experience. Did not enjoy that. Knitting with 2 colors at the same time is way different. I can quite enjoy that kind of color work, but 3 colors at a time is just not enjoyable. But I'm going to do it for my son and making him a hat, because I think he'll really enjoy it. He's very knit worthy, so I think it's going to be worth it. Also, the sweater I made is in size 6 years, so the hat's probably going to be as well, so he'll be able to use it for like 3 years, which is a major plus. But yeah, that's another one of my plans. And then my next plan here, let's see if I can carry all of the yarn without dropping any of it. I don't know how well that went, but this is Sandnes Garn Smart in loads of different colors. Let's see if I can hold it a bit better. But I have both beige and black and 2 different sorts of pinks and white and grey. I think that's all of the colors. Yeah, I have a lot of different colors, and you might know by now what this is going to be because of all of the colors, but this is going to be a Holger sweater in size 5 to 6 years, I think. The Holger sweater is also by Petiteknit. And I know when I first planned this out, I did plan this, I think in April last year. I haven't gotten to it yet because it is in a quite big size, but I know when I first made the plan that I had a plan about what the different sort of colors were going to be, and I can't remember that plan anymore, but I think I'll figure it out. I know what yarn I'm going to use, and from there I can't make too many mistakes. But that's another thing I'm really excited about. Again, it's stripes, so you can see your progress quickly, loads of different colors, so it's always exciting. So the body is going to be in stripes with 2 different colors, and then each sleeve is 1 color, and then the collar is 1 color, and maybe the bottom is another one. I can't remember all of the different colors, but I'm really excited to do that. So hopefully that's something I get to this winter, even though it is in a big size. We could still get some use out of it already. And then let's see my next plan. Then my next plan is to use this yarn. It's Nepal again, and I'm going to make double felted slippers again. Probably I'm going to make both pairs at the same time, so when I'm felting, just so I can remember how to felt and get into the groove of it. But as I said, made felted slippers for my son last year, but he is beginning to grow out of them, so I'm going to make him a new pair. Last time I made them in orange, and now I'm making them in navy blue. And yeah, I'm really excited about that. Last time his slippers took about a day to make. They'll probably take a bit longer now, but they are on quite big needles since they're going to be felted, and they just go by really quickly and are quite a fun knit to make, so I'm excited to make another pair. And then I have even more yarn that's a bit tricky to pick up, so I'm not going to pick up all of it, but I'm going to pick up these 3 colors, and these are the original colors of the Maru sweater, and that's what I'm hoping to make with this yarn. I wanted to make the really traditional Maru sweater with the steeked sleeves and everything traditional in the traditional colors for my son. I don't know which size this would be, if I have enough yarn to do size 4 years or if I have to do 6 years. I'll probably do the biggest size I have enough yarn for. The pattern I'm going to be following is by Sandnes Garn, and I'm going to be using merino wool from Sandnes. And I'm really excited. I really love these colors. If you can't tell, I feel like these colors have shown themselves in my other plants as well. So I'm super excited to get to these, but I'm also really nervous because I've never steeked before, and it's also a color work sweater and steeking, and just I feel scared about that. I also don't think those like all traditional Norwegian patterns explain things very like in depth, so I'll probably be getting loads of help from my grandma with this, but that's a huge plan this year. I really want to make him a traditional sweater, and I really want to learn to steek. I don't think steeking is ever going to be something I do regularly, but it would be amazing to like have done it once and to at least not be terrified of it. So that's one of my goals this year, and while we are talking about mother sweaters, I do have plans for another mother sweater as well, because we also have a family match that is mother sweaters, but that is the more beginner friendly version of the mother sweater, and that is the mother sweater with the round yoke. So instead of sticking, you just do a round yoke, and everyone has one of those sweaters. I have one, my fiance has one, and my son has had, by now I think he has had 3 versions, but he is growing out of his latest one, so I'm going to make him a new one. And those sweaters I have always made in drops alpaca, and my fiance and my son always have the main color be this medium gray in alpaca, and for all of our sweaters the main work color is off-white alpaca. And then I don't think I have enough of this color, so I might have to get another skein, but this is the last scrap I have from all of the skeins I've used to make my fiance's and all of my son's sweaters, and this is the navy blue color, and that is the color they always have in their colors. Mine is in light gray and then turquoise at the top, but that's another plan that needs to happen probably by Easter, because we use our sweaters then, but definitely by Christmas when we take our Christmas card photos. But this is like the main family match we use. I love this, so this is definitely really high on the priority list. And I think I'm going to be making this in size 4 or size 6, I don't know. I might just make it big so I won't have to make it for a little while. And then the very last plan is that I'm going to be using Drops Flora in white and denim blue or jeans blue. I can never remember the right name for that color, but these colors in Flora, which are the same colors I used to make my porcelain sweater, and I'm going to make my son a porcelain sweater as well. I really enjoyed making my porcelain sweater. I think it looks great. It's definitely been one of my favorite sweaters ever since I made it, and I want to make another one, but like tiny version. And I also want to be able to match my son, because that's my favorite thing to do. So I've got yarn to make a version for him as well. The junior version is just knit using fingering weight yarn, so I'm excited to see how that will affect the process and how enjoyable it is, and just the end result. But yeah, I'm excited for that. I can't remember, I got yarn a while ago, so I can't remember what size I was planning to make, but I think I was planning to make, say, size 8 or something, because the porcelain sweater is a lot of color work, so I was like, I'm going to make that big, so we'll just have that for a really long time. But yeah, that is the very last plan for my son, and we are more than halfway through my yarn with a plan, and then of course all my yarn without a plan that I don't know what to do with. But the next category that I have plans for is gifts. Some of these gifts have a recipient, some of these gifts I just know that I want to make and know that won't fit me, so they're going to be given away to whoever it fits, probably for a birthday gift or something whenever I get the chance. But first up among those plans is this yarn, Merino Extra Fine in greyish and Kid Silk in beige, and these together are going to be the Augustine's number 1 by Augustine's DK, and I'm going to be making that for my friend for a birthday gift for her. She turns 30 this early this June, so it needs to be done by then, so I need to start this by the latest in April. I think early April I should be able to do this just fine. But again, I don't think this will be a winter knit for me, because Augustine's patterns, a lot of them at least, I think they seem so flowy and everything that I think they fit into spring a bit better. Same with this one. So I'm going to be waiting for spring and then knit this in time for June. But that is the first thing. And then I have Charisma. I have 2, 4, 6. I have 8 skeins of this, so 400 grams. And in this lovely pink color. And with this I am planning to make a zipper sweater light, either in a tiny adult size but probably in a junior size, and then I can give that away to someone. I don't know who. I know it's not enough yarn for me and not a color I would choose for myself, so I just want to make it. I have a pink zipper as well, so I want to make it and then I'll just see who I can give it away to. But yeah, that's another plan. Don't have a lot more to say about that. The zipper sweater light is also by Petiteknit. And then I have another plan, which is to make another modern sweater. I don't know if this will be steeped or not, but this is also the traditional colors. I was thinking about making one for myself in these colors, but the colors don't match the one for my son exactly, so I'm not going to do that. And I also don't have enough of the main yarn to fit me, so I'm going to make this as a gift for someone or to sell, so I could get yarn for a sweater for myself instead. But this is Viking Garn Superwash in navy blue, red and white, and I'm going to be making a model sweater. Probably, since I'm going to be selling it, I won't do sticking. I'll see. Maybe I'll do sticking, maybe I won't, but this will at least be a model sweater and I won't be keeping it myself. I'll see if I give it away or if I sell it, but that's the last thing in that category. I only have 3 things that I'm going to be giving away that are not baby knits. But yeah. That being said, let's move into baby knits, which is definitely my favorite category, but also the category I planned the least for, because it is a category where I like to knit whatever I'm in the mood for, and that's also why I keep so much mohair just on hand. It might seem like a lot of yarn without a plan, but all of a sudden I'm knitting it because, oh, this fits perfectly for Willem's overalls or something, so I'm not too stressed about my mohair yarn. I'm more stressed about my alpaca because I don't know what to do with that. I think I'll turn some of it into a blanket, but I find it way harder to plan for that yarn. But let's move into the baby knits before I talk too much. And for my baby knits, I started doing this technique for my baby knits. My planned one, that is to put them in a box and also to put them in these like bread bags, because even though I knit a lot of baby knits without a plan, those are very easy. I just grab the yarn and go, but sometimes I want to do a baby knit but I don't have a plan like in my head, and that makes it way harder when I'm like craving a baby knit but can't really think of what to do. So to fix that problem for myself, I've taken some yarn that I just had like single skeins of or not that much of and figured out what kind of baby knit I could do with those. And I've also taken some of my favorite yarns and planned what I could make with those. So it's a mix of everything in here. But I thought I'd pick it up and tell you what my plans are. This is completely full now. I have, since the last time I started doing this in April, and I have knit quite a few plans from there since then, and I also added quite a few plans in there today, so we'll just go through them. First up here I have a bag that says Anker's Blouse in the size 1 to 3 months, and that's 2 skeins of baby merino. I think this is the North Sea color. And then I have a bag here that says Anker's Drakt. I think that's Anker's onesie in English, also in 1 to 3 months. And these skeins are kind of like scrappy skeins, and also from Sandnes Garn outlet, so it's 2 skeins, but they actually weigh 115 grams. Then I have some super fine merino wool from Knit at Home that's going to be turned into Williams overalls in 2 to 4 month size, and this is 150 grams. And it's just a really nice way, because I know when I start knitting that I'll have enough yarn. I know what I'm making. I've already figured out the size, and I've already pre-planned them into patterns I know I gift a lot or just are great to have on hand, because when there is a new baby, these patterns they were my favorite when I had a little baby, and they have been my friend's favorite, so love to have them on hand. And then here I have 2 skeins of drops by merino in dark brown to make the Anker's suit. This is going to be in 2 to 4 months. So that's another one, and I think it might take us forever to go through this, but I'm just going to. Then this is from the last time I did it, and this is the baby bear suit by Knitting for Olive. This is yarn enough to make the 6 month size, and it's 250 grams of Knitting for Olive heavy merino. I'm really excited to crank this bag open, because I've never used Knitting for Olive heavy merino, so can't wait to get the opportunity to knit this, but I want to savor this, so I'm waiting until I have the perfect recipient. And then I have 4 skeins of baby merino, drops baby merino in the color chocolate, and with these I'm going to be making like going home from the hospital set, hente set we call it in Norway, and that's going to be the teddy pants in size 0 to 1 month, the olives wrap by teddy pants by Petiteknit, olives wrap by Knitting for Olive in 0 to 1 month, and the baby bear bonnet also by Knitting for Olive in 0 months. And all that I could do with 200 grams of the baby merino. And then I have 2 bags here, one in blue and one in pink. One is the brand, what's the brand called? I can't find it. But this is at least drops Lima in dusty pink. This is 308 grams of the dusty pink, powdered pink. I think it's called powdered pink. So this is enough for the small size of the Selma sleepsuit, 0 to 3 months. This is also for the smallest size, 0 to 3 months, and the brand is Mjuk, and the type of yarn is Vestavin. So another Selma sleepsuit in here, just for whenever I need those. Then I have some Knitting for Olive merino in the color, what's this called? I think ochre or something. And this is for a Monday suit in 6 to 9 months, because I have 150 grams of that. And yeah, I've really enjoyed having pre-planned projects. I think I've knit more baby knits without a plan this year, but the times where I've just needed a pick-me-up, this has been perfect. And then I have 2 bags of yarn for an Ingrid sweater. Both are Sandnes Garn Smart, but this in the light pink is the biggest size. Don't know which size that is, because it just says biggest size. And this is for the smallest size, which I had a 3rd bag which I just knit, so that's how I know that the smallest size is 1 to 3 months. So I have that planned as well. Those are really fun knit, so can't wait to knit more of those. And then let me just pick up this last 5. Here I have Baby Supremo, which is a merino yarn in, I think the color is called Salmon, and this is 100 grams, and I'm going to make the smallest size of the Monday suit with it. That's another yarn that's lovely to work with. It's so soft and just amazing, so I'm really excited to knit that. And then I have loads of different colors, some scrap yarns, some complete yarns that I haven't touched yet. a bit of different yarns in here, and all of those together is going to be the Holger baby set, which is both pants and a sweater with those Holger stripes. So I'm also really excited about that. And then I have 2 yarns here that are both baby merino from, let's see where they are from Nille, I guess. Baby merino from Nille, and this is just 1 skein, and it's going to be the 0 to 1 month size Anker's blouse, and this is 2 skeins, and that's going to be the 3 to 6 month size of the Anker blouse. And then lastly, the very last thing I have planned is olive suit in 3 months with 300 grams of the cotton merino. I don't know how this suit will be in cotton merino, but I wanted to try, and I thought that could work out very well. So that is the last plan, which I'm also excited to try. And that's all of my plans. I do have quite a lot of plans. Before I started going through my stash, I did not realize how much yarn I really had. I knew the numbers, but I did not know how much yarn that actually was when you placed it all out instead of hiding it under the desk. And I did not know how much of it was actually planned for, because I think I can say quite comfortably that more than half of the yarn is planned for, and the half without the plan is a lot of merino wool that I just like to have without the plans. I can just pick at it. But yeah, those are all of my plans, and this has been going on forever, so I'm going to stop talking now and finally do the part I've craved doing ever since I started this process, and that is organizing all of my yarn. This is the best I can do to get the whole stash. You still won't get that last shelf there, but this is my stash. I've sorted it to the best of my ability, and I am quite happy with it. I did unfortunately have a bit too much yarn, so some of it had to go in bags. I chose to put the yarn I love the most, use the most in bags, because I don't have to look at that to want to knit with it. But the alpaca I wanted to have here, so I would look at it a lot and get ideas. So yeah, these are my active projects. Baby knits front and center. This is all of my scrap yarn. I weighed and measured everything. So hopefully I'll get to use that. These are my super tiny scraps. My single skeins, all of my merino wool. This is all merino. And then here is like wool, sock yarn, wool, wool, wool. This is wool and alpaca. This is alpaca. These are like my hanks. And also yarn I think is really beautiful to look at. All of my swatches. And then here are gifts, mohair, gifts, my mood board for this winter in knitting, and then plans for myself. All of the rest of this is plans for myself. And then here I have yarn I want to use this season. So cotton merino and some hanks that I just want to use this season. And then also I have this here. These are the plans for my son. And I also have his Marius sweaters. They are here. This is one and this is one. But yeah, that is all of my yarn and how I've sorted it. And hopefully it looking like this and being sorted like this will mean that I use a lot from my stash and choose to shop from my stash instead of getting any more yarn. But yeah, that is my stash. So this is my stash. Almost 30 kilos of it. The stash is big. When I look at it like this, it isn't as overwhelming, but I think it's very healthy to take everything out and look at it every once in a while, because wow, is it more yarn than I imagined. When I just look at it like this, of course I know it's a lot, but it seems much more manageable. But when it's all out on the floor, it just seems like a lot. So I'm really pleased I did this. I also quite like the result. I had a big dream of being able to fit everything in the boxes I have or on shelves. Unfortunately, I'm not quite there yet. It is heaps better than the last time I did this. Can't even compare, to be honest. But I am like 4 bags away from my goal of having everything like in the designated spots. But it is better than it's ever been before, so I'm really happy about that. And I'll put on screen like the exact grams of my stash, the exact meters. I put everything in the app Knit a Note. That helps a bunch, so I'll just put a screen record of that in here so you can see my stash. But yeah, this is the whole stash. I'm really excited to get my time back to actually knit now, and I'm really excited to get back to this projects I found, and yeah, just a lot of really fun projects in here. I love doing this. I highly recommend, if you have a stash that's bigger, like look at all of your yarn and just go through it, reignite your love for it. It's really fun, and I am so excited to get through all of this yarn. So that's what I'm going to go do now instead of babbling on anymore here, because this video is certainly more than long enough. I hope you enjoyed this video of me going through my stash and all of my plans. If you've lasted all this way, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and a comment. That means the world to me, and I would also love to hear about your plans, your goal for your stash, the size of your stash. Give me all the details. I love to hear about it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more from me, please subscribe. Bye!